Oh, there we go. Look at who it is.
Hi.
The lavish Lisa herself. What's happening?
Oh
What's
my gosh.
happening?
Did you get a haircut?
No, everybody keeps asking me that. I'm not wearing a hat.
Something looks different.
I know I've done my research. I know you're the salon expert, so I got to get like a hair review. You got to do a hair review for me.
Definitely. It's good. It's good.
Decent? Okay.
You know what I love on guys is faded high and tight, and then like
Yeah.
the gentleman's cut with longer on top. Sometimes
Hmm.
even like cutting in a part. I think that looks so sharp.
Oh
It's
yeah.
either extremely that way or long freaking hair.
No, no in between. No in between. Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
geez. Am I? Should I put do not disturb on my phone?
Uh, yeah. I think that's what I did. I feel like your phone goes crazy.
Okay.
I feel like you get a lot of notifications.
Back in a second. There we go. I
All
put do
set.
not disturb.
Perfect. I
Yo, I'm
was.
just so happy because the last time I saw you guys, I had my hair pinned up in a pink clip. The second time I saw you guys, I was there with, and I had, oh, I have no makeup on because I'm doing a tutorial. That's awesome.
And now you're set up. And look at who's arrived to come say hi.
Hey, big guy.
Hello.
Pretty boy.
Pretty boys in
How
the
you
picture.
doing?
Oh, I'm just about to take a little power nap. I
Of
need it.
course.
Yeah,
Good.
I love my naps.
That's
Gotta mentally
awesome.
prepare for falling out of the sky tomorrow, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I
we'll
don't even
see
know
how
what to
that.
say. I don't know
I
what to
don't
say
even know.
about that.
We don't. We're just kind of
Going with it.
We're just going
Like,
with it. We're gonna wake
going.
up, see how it
just
happens.
you talking about it, my heart started pounding. My throat was like, it's going to be good. And you guys, it's going to be memories of a lifetime. And people do this all the
Mhm.
time. And you're going to feel like you've conquered the world.
That's true.
I know.
I hope so.
I'm
like
just
once
thinking,
we're on the ground, vibes will be absolutely immaculate. We'll
Yeah.
be buzzing, but like
If-
it's gonna be that plane ride up. I'm just gonna be like,
in
Like
15
shaking.
minutes too. Like that's a decent amount of time to like.
oh yeah,
That's gonna be the slowest 15 minutes of my life.
You know what? It won't be. And I'll tell you why. You're going to be having to do all your safety checks. You're going to be going through all the things they trained you on. You're going to be checking your locks, your pull cords. You're going to be checking with your tandem partner. I promise you it's going to go fast.
All right.
And then we're on the ground, and you know, if we make it through, I think tomorrow night's live is gonna be
An absolute riot.
Yeah. We're going
I
down.
think Whit needs to be like off the hook.
Oh, it's gonna be our best one yet.
Oh yeah,
Without a doubt, it'll be our best
And we're
one
gonna
yet.
whip
Like
up some.
we're all going to be relieved.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's
Yeah.
gonna be nuts.
It's gonna be crazy.
All right, I'm going to take my nap now. Just wanted to pop in and say hello.
There he is. He's out.
So
Good night.
I'll see you guys soon.
See you later.
Wake
Enjoy
you
your
up.
talks. Bye.
I'll wake you up.
Okay. Well, thanks, man.
Of course. Of course.
Man.
Yeah. Yeah. So Lisa, thank you for coming in, because one of the things Alex and I talked about was we wanted to like obviously connect more with you guys, and you know, through Karen talking about it, as well as Karen and Alicia, we know there are a lot of people who own their own businesses. So one of the things we were like, let's just bring on, you know, you guys. So each week, I'm going to be bringing on someone to come talk about their business, and eventually, like, I even have some friends as well that are going to hop on. So you're kicking it off. You know, the questions aren't going to be too crazy. But we're going to start it off. So maybe just give kind of like a down low about your salon, and maybe like what got you into wanting to be a hairdresser.
Well, all right, I'll try to make it short and sweet. I have been drawn to it since I was a child. Like, my dad built me a playhouse that was made out of like those real Lincoln logs that are like logs like this, you know.
Yep.
So I had a playhouse, and I would set up chairs and TV trays to make stations in there, and we'd take his troubleshooting lights and hang them in the rafters, and I would do hair out there. And then my shampoo bowl was a wheelbarrow pulled up with a chair up to it, and they put their head back in the wheelbarrow and get a ice cold garden hose shampoo. I started as a child. My first job, I was 13 in a beauty salon. I started cutting hair at 12, and I started coloring and cutting and perming 13, 14.
Wow. Oh, so you've been
And
doing like so there was never a doubt that you want like you just always knew you wanted to be like a hairdresser or do something with hair?
well, to be honest, as I got into high school, I grew up in a small town, and it was never ever even told to me like you should do a SAT prep and take the SATs and go. No one even ever talked about. It didn't even cross my radar. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
And like it just wasn't even on my radar. And I remember getting it to be like a senior, going like I think because I'd hear people joke about like beauty school dropouts and like, oh, cute, you curl hair for a living,
Yeah.
and right, and I thought, oh, that's not an important occupation. I got to do something else. And so I started kind of looking into like, well, what else? Like, if I had to do anything else, it'd be like literally science.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't know if I really had the brain for that. But I didn't go anywhere after high school. I wandered for about maybe 9 months, just like I don't know what to do. And I remember finally, my girlfriend wrote me a letter, and she said, I am in beauty school and you're nannying these kids. And she's like, you're way better at hair and you've never been to school. We're doing the wrong thing. We should flip.
Right.
And I remember going in, like just feeling like my life was like, I just don't know where I was going. And I went to the beauty school, and they called it a beauty school or cosmetology school. And I remember the day I walked in, it was on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And when I opened up the doors, I could smell all, the chemicals, which aren't good for you. But I was like, oh, like
Go.
snap my neck. I'm
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And I never look, and I started competing in competitions against professionals when I was in beauty school. I went
Wow.
into doing, I was a color specialist. And then I started doing advanced training. I trained hair color in London and Chicago and New York. And, and I started like just going on with event. Like, I'm not going to like take my foot off the gas. Well, of course you do take your foot off the gas
Right.
eventually, but I have continued to love it. And yeah, it's been a good life. And you know what? The beauty industry does pay well, and it is a good career if you have a passion for it.
100%. Now, so you're based out of where again?
Minneapolis.
Minneapolis. So have you always been in Minneapolis, or so you just like when you cut? Because how long are you in beauty school for?
A year.
A year. So then right after that, you stayed there and you started cutting hair. So you must have been able to build like, and if you still do it, like pretty good relationships with your clients. I can imagine.
Yes.
What is
Yep.
the
You make any moves calculated and careful, because if you get real extreme and you start jumping around, every time you make jumps in location of, I believe it's 5 to 8 miles
Mhm.
radius, you will lose 50% or more of your clientele.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's interesting. Now curious, like, what is your longest standing client? Like, how long would you say you've been cutting their hair?
I don't want to tell you.
You don't want to tell me? Oh, come on.
30.
Wow, wow. That's
Yeah.
yeah. Now that's impressive. Like to have just like that. That's almost like that's a relationship. Like they come in, you do their hair. I don't know how many times a week, but still 30. That's impressive. What would you say is like the most crucial thing when it comes to like client relationship management?
Well, what I have learned is like to just, absolutely have a heart and be real. I'm always truthful, especially when it comes to doing their hair. Always truthful. I don't blow smoke about anything. And if I
Mm-hmm.
notice anything's a little funky, I immediately come and say, I think it's funky. Don't try to sell them on like, oh, it's going to fade and blah, blah, blah. because
Yeah.
then they always trust you. Um, and the other thing is, I think it's a little bit different with women in business in the hairdressing world. And I hope anyone corrects me if I'm wrong, but I think that women have to really learn to be businessmen, because women get weird and emotional about money and their value. And men don't blink at men in beauty or men in the workplace. They don't blink at what value or supply and demand versus pricing. And women get weird. Like, oh, I've known them for 30 years. Oh, I know their kids play with mine and I can't charge them. And it took me 4 hours, but I charged them a quarter of what I.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you to elaborate on that, and that, wow, yeah, that's I would have never thought about that. So you think that's not even just in like beauty, that's just across the board?
I would say anything where women are in control of pricing. I think women can tend to be more emotional about it because of relationship, and men aren't. And so I can be like the sweet, fun loving, gal in normal life, but when I'm in the salon, I really try to put on more of a choleric personality a little bit, and not, you know,
Yeah, absolutely. Now, was that something you learned through the years? Like you had to learn, or did you always just know like I'm a boss, like I'm gonna present myself this way? Because you present yourself that way. Like even when you came here, like you got it. You got it.
I did have that attitude, but I learned from people who were better than me about your worth and stepping out. And but
Mhm.
I've always been confident. I used to do hair color like on stage platform. I've done some like I even got to do hair at New York Fashion Week a few
Really?
years. Yes, like not Chanel or anything like that, on a smaller venue, but
Still,
um, that makes
now,
you confident.
now, how did that like an opportunity like that come about? Is it just
Because in the salon, I was in a big salon, and I was just one of their high producers. And so I've always endeavored to be one of the high producers and to do interesting work. And so then they were like, there's an opportunity for a couple people to go, and and I was into it. So I will be there. I will be there. Any opportunity, especially when I got to study color in London, that was like, I'm going to do it. I'll be there. Go to New York. I'll be there.
yeah, no, because I feel like a lot of people like that, because that's an intimidating thing. And when it comes, I feel like with beauty, especially in like a situation like New York Fashion Week, like you want to be like you have to bring your A game. So I feel like a lot of people would just like be like, no, like I don't want to do that. And you were just like, screw that, I'm going, no hesitation.
Hmm.
Now, like more on like your upbringing side, like have you always kind of had that like entrepreneurial spirit type thing where like I'm not maybe this like did you grow up with brothers? Oh wow.
No,
Wow.
but I was my early years, and I was trained by a very, like a lion. The guy that I work for, he's like a brother to me. He is a lion. And I learned, like, I cut my teeth with him. But
Yeah.
no, younger, I just always had a vision for doing more. Here's the challenge with women in no, not women in business, anyone in business, in their own business, small business, let's say that. Um, oh gosh, I forgot the name of the book. It was like a Minute Manager, and it talked about, do you know what I'm talking about, Justin? Something Minute Manager.
Is it like is it
I
kind of like
don't
those like 4 hour work week books? Sort
know. It was older than that book, but I know what you're talking about. But basically, they're saying that a lot of times the artist
yeah.
it's the artist or like the technician, and they are but they are good. Then they're in demand. Then
Hmm.
people want them. So then
Yeah.
they go out and they open a business. But the artist is not always the businessman. The
Interesting.
technician isn't always the businessman. Like in my relationship, I'd be the artist, you'd run the business because
Yep.
I'm not the businessman. I'm the artist. So a lot of small businesses where the artist or the technician is running it
Mhm.
sometimes can, especially if it's an artist running it, they don't always have the business sense and things slip between the cracks. Like where you checked the receipt from Alex the other night and saw that he saved 50 cents. I would have crumpled that up and threw it in the trash because who gives a
Right.
crap?
Yeah, for sure.
See what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
one challenge is I've had to learn to exercise some other muscles or pull in people who can do it.
Because in that case, like, in your situation, it's kind of like you have to be like both almost, right? Like maybe when
Mm-hmm.
you were out, and I feel like that's really difficult as well for even like when Alex and I talk about like some of the other creators that we've talked to, and they start coming into maybe like a little bit of like clout, I guess you could say, and they have
Yes.
people approaching them, and they start signing contracts, and they start working with brands, and they're not crossing the T's and dotting the I's, so they don't really know what they're getting themselves into, which is why it's like, and even in Alex's position is, like we've had people reach out and wanting to work offering money for Alex to help promote their products, and it's like, if it doesn't make sense, or it just, like sometimes it's something ridiculous, like 30 videos for X amount of money. And it's, if you're not looking into these things, like in the fine print, a lot of people get really, really screwed. There's actually a segment on Fashion Nova and how Fashion Nova conducts a lot of their contracts with some of these influencers, ties them in. So I think that's an amazing point.
Fashion Nova. Okay.
Yeah, it's worth. I remember it was probably like a year or so ago when I was reading and how they were just locking in people. I think Bang Energy was another one, and just like offering these creators money up front, and they were signing things because they're like, oh, here's all this money, but they don't really know what it entails. And I think on the side of like build, when you're trying to build like a brand, I think if you start doing things like that all the time, like it really ruins your equity that you have as like a creator. Um, so yeah, I think that's an amazing point. And I think Alex, that's one of the things Alex was smart about, was bringing me in, and I recognize Alex's position and I know my position, so it's like I don't cross his territory, he doesn't come, so it just works really well. And I think there are a few people who I think can do both, but I think it's a very small majority.
I've loved watching the dynamic of you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's fun. And we do get on lives and start drinking beer and stuff, but like
That doesn't matter.
we,
That doesn't matter.
we try and keep things. That's why I want to come on here too and do these kind of things to show like this side of us. Next thing is so I went through like your social media. I think I even told you that like a few days ago when I looked into your business. So you know what you're doing when it comes to social media. Like, was that something you like, for example, my parents, I know my dad was in here earlier. Like my dad never, like, it took him so long to even use Facebook or like to download TikTok. He still sends texts like their emails. So it's like, did you just kind of see it and you naturally just gravitated to it, or were you like, oh, this is a tool I could use for my business?
Both.
Both.
I've always had a really, I don't mean this to sound cheesy, but I've just always had a really young perspective. I'm not like, I'd not set in my brain. Like, I don't act like, well, you act this way because you're this age. Like, I feel like I have the yard that has pulled up the stakes of all the fence, and I don't have a fence. So I don't look at things by like, this is not like I'm not the age for this, or I don't need to know. I don't look at things like that. And so what I'm drawn to is what I go to in hair and fashion and color. And so whatever I'm drawn to, I'll go to. I don't care. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it's tacky, of course, or something like
Yeah.
that. I'm not gonna.
Of course.
But I just, I really started digging in and taking classes. I would even sometimes take classes at the Apple store so I can learn
Yeah.
more. Because I want to. I love technology. I love to know everything about it. In fact, my 13 Pro Max just arrived today. Uh,
Already did that? I didn't even know that came out. You're on.
yeah,
You're more on it than we are.
I
You're always.
like I like to have it, but then I started learning more about like so over the last couple of years I've taken some classes and I've learned a little bit more about like tagging, hashtagging, and
Yeah.
like when you see people tagging a lot, I remember like people who were, you know, maybe in the 35 plus age group would be like, why are you it's so obnoxious all the hashtags you have on
Mm,
all your posts. And I'm like, it's a search engine, like it's
yeah.
smart. And the more I hashtag, I have visibility, and I hashtag the creators, or I hashtag the companies that I want to notice me. And if they notice me, sometimes they'll post for me, and eventually then maybe Redken would like collaborate, or I'd have a door, you know, to open up, or you know,
Nice.
it, you just do it. You just put in the effort. So posting stuff isn't just slapping up a picture.
Mhm.
It's about the lighting. It's a, you know, so I've got ring lights at the salon. I've got a backdrop. I find, you know, places to do good pictures. I'm learning different ways, you know, zooming in, and then I watch what other people are doing. And I learning, okay, no, now Instagram's going a little more videos. So now I'm learning, you know, put the video on, kind of go into the hair, pull back, pick up the hair, let them see the shadows in it, and then pull back, cut.
See that stuff.
And
So that's impressive, and because you have good follow, like you're at like 9,000 on TikTok, like you're
I
active on like.
just hit 9,000 today,
Just
Justin.
look at that, guys.
Ten
So
thousand's my goal. 10,000's my goal. So I have to do some cool content or I'll never get there.
you will get there. You will get there. You already do cool content. I went through videos, so we yeah, Lisa, you okay. Just got to get to 10K. Um, but yeah, I'm very impressed, especially with your social media too. I think like people like because I went on your salon's page and I can tell that you're very like. Do you manage your salon's Instagram?
And I haven't put a lot of effort into the salon's Instagram because a couple years ago I took the class. They said, because I kept trying to manage work and personal grams. And finally, the people who were running the class said, listen, guys, post where you have viewership. Quit worrying about this is work, this is personal. Now, don't get political on your personal. Don't, you know, but post where your viewership is. That's where you're going to be the most effective. So I kind of stopped feeding the other one, which I know I should go back and do a little more.
Yep.
And I have to do some cleanup on my website, but I post where the viewership is, and that's in Instagram. And
Mm-hmm.
then last week I set up a link tree, and then I set up Amazon store. So when we have our lives and talk about beauty and hair, when we have products or things that people like, now they can just click the link tree and go to the Amazon store and find it, and not have to run out and look, you know, at all the
Yeah,
stores.
that's yeah, that's awesome. Because even when I went through, I could see your pictures, and regardless, I thought, I was like, you're fairly diligent, and you know what you're doing. So that's why I was like, you know what, you're the perfect first guest to bring on. I got a question. So I have a friend she does like lashes. So
Mm-hmm.
she's a technician, and she's made like ridiculous amounts of money in well, I think I want to say probably around the last year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
and she just brings all her products from Alibaba and then resells them at like it's like 17 times what she's paying for them. Now I know in hair there's like the extensions and stuff. Like, are you into those type of beauty products as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So now on that note, is it like how important to you as like a business owner and as like a person and someone who wants to like cultivate these relationships is the quality of what you're putting out?
Very important. So I don't buy any extensions from Alibaba. I go through an extension company. It's a little more expensive, but that hair has to feel like silk, and it can't turn to like feel like a horse's tail. after a month. But I've looked on some of those. Yeah, think of what a horse's tail feels like.
Yeah.
The extensions, like at the end, feel like that after a while, especially the lighter they are. So I go for the little bit higher quality, and especially I'm kind of in a, when I'm dealing with women and beauty and hair, we're kind of at a point in our life where most of my people aren't 23 years old, just out of college. They're going to pay for nice. They want nice. Doesn't need to be ridiculous, but nice. So cheap isn't the way to go on those things. What she's doing with lashes, totally good. I've been looking for appliances, and there's specific appliances that I would like to sell in my link tree.
Like a hair dryer stuff. Gotcha. A flat iron. That's a thing. I know flat iron. Pretty sure it's called a flat iron. I got 3 sisters.
Yes.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on game. I'm on game.
And now they've got like the beach wavers, and I've got like mini crimpers that like give volume and stuff. And the ones that I can find are like, they're almost $200, and they're great quality.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to find them where I could find them and be still good quality, and I could cut the price in half, and where people could actually get a decent deal. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for that. But the communication on with China and doing products like that, then you become middleman. And like, if you buy an iron from me and it goes kaput, then who do you send it to? You have to send it to me now. And
Exactly.
I'm the middleman, and then I can't communicate with the China people. I've already been trying to, and it's difficult. So
Absolutely.
I'm like, for now I'm doing Amazon store till I can figure out how to get that to be a well-oiled machine where there's going to be quality, and then I'll do it. But
because that's even like we kind of experienced the same thing. Like when Alex asked me to come do his merch, like we looked into the drop shipping. Yeah. So essentially, like the most popular company is this. I think it's called Printify. So you would set up like a Shopify store. People would place an order, it would go directly to them, and then they would just fulfill it and send it out, which sounds great in theory. But before I started the merch, I ordered someone on TikTok, I won't say who it was, a hoodie, to just see what their hoodies were like, because I knew it came from Printify and I wanted to see it. I washed it, did it twice. It was crimpled. It was like torn, like it didn't look good. So then I was like, you know what, we got to take like a longer time to put an emphasis on like the quality of it. And even though that comes at a premium, there's not going to be anybody who can say that, oh, this is a bad quality hoodie, or this is, because I would go on like Reddit, and there's forums that talk about like different obviously like influencers at like a larger scale, but like once you don't have good quality merch and it's like that, like it's not, you know, we're not trying to make like a quick buck, right? So it's kind of like you want to have, just like in your, you know, like in your position, you'd rather have, you know, maybe one customer that's a repeat customer over however many years, clearly a 30-year relationship, you know what you're doing, than just like a one-time purchases. So
right. What's interesting too is like the sales and the couponing, and people doing Groupon, that type of thing. Have you heard of that, Groupon? Like that's actually put people out of business, because they've cut prices so bad, and they sold so many, and then there was not enough technicians to take care of it, and then they were getting crappy work, and they couldn't afford to keep up with the premium color products, and you know, so you'd be rather to charge it a little bit more and do quality work, and then to do this fast stuff.
Absolutely. Now wait, so what is Grouponing exactly?
So Groupon is like a website you can go on, like you want to maybe try a new salon, you want to try a new restaurant, a massage, nails, lots of things, and they'll run a special. You buy the Groupon. So let's say for example, you want to go get a massage while you're in BC. So you go on Groupon and you find a massage place that's in the area and it's a legitimate massage place at a spa or whatever, and it'll offer maybe a $40 1 hour massage. So you go there, but then what sometimes happens with small businesses, everyone's going $40. Yeah, and everyone's buying them. Now the technicians are being worked to death and they're making no money because they've cut the prices below like where even they can pay for the cost of product.
Yeah.
And then, you get to use your Groupon once, but the whole reason it's a teaser to get people to walk in your door and try it. But a lot of times it's been their absolute demise.
Yeah, I would say so because then you're not getting the best quality service. I've never even heard of that until now. That's really
Yeah.
interesting. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I don't think I probably wouldn't. I'm definitely one who likes to discount or likes to save a buck, but at the same time, it's just I don't know. You don't want to sacrifice quality for quantity.
Right.
But
That's right. By
yeah,
the way,
I
you guys nailed it on your merch. You did good with the merch.
thank you. We appreciate that. It was a learning curve. So like we kind of took everything and we were like, okay, this is what we learned not to do. This is how we're gonna go about things now, and now we're gonna use it for like the second time. So now like our process is better, our designs are better, and we're excited to release it. But it was tough because we were like, okay, we're charging $75 a hoodie. And I remember getting someone messaging me saying like, "Oh, that's so much money for one hoodie," but I'm like, "We're paying, you know, we're not really making that much money off of each one, to be honest, because we're paying a lot for the hoodie up front.
Mhm.
So it's just like, but I would rather have less orders and those people be happy with the orders than to have, charge $40 a hoodie and people just have,
Mhm.
that they can't wear after three
I
washes."
think one thing too, you got to remember in your situation is like that fan base. We talked about it. You talked about it. You have a vibrant, robust fan base, which is
Hmm.
kind of like, and it goes the same with Will's, a very vibrant, robust fan base.
Yeah.
And I think that if you think about like all the gifts and the PayPals and stuff, like people want to give to what they believe in. And
Hmm.
so I think you have to look at the hoodies beyond like, you're not trying to get a Target hoodie. You're
No.
supporting, you're also supporting a business and a vision. It's not
Yep.
just a product. So you are getting a nice product. I wear my hoodie every night. It is a nice product. But there's more to it, and that the people who are into this, they see the value and that they are supporting a dream, they're supporting a launch.
Yep. I agree. Yeah, absolutely. And we're like very grateful for all of you guys because, none of this, like we say it every time we come on alive, but it's just like, it's so true. Like nothing, like we wouldn't be in Vancouver, we wouldn't be able to continue going and traveling without like the support of all of you guys. And it's really crazy to see it. And it's kind of like, it's crazy for me because like I mentioned this before, like I was not a social media person. Like I still haven't posted on Instagram since like last year. So it was just me getting thrown into this, and sometimes I've had to learn to be like, okay, ignore certain things. And like, because to me I'm a person where it's like, oh, if you want to say that, I want to confront it and talk about it and try and be like, no, like you're wrong. But I've learned that, you can't give that
You'd
attention.
be you'd be putting fires out all day.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I learned. And I also realized once you open that gate, it's very hard to close. So you just got to be very very careful with it. Definitely is what I've learned. Now I do have a question. This is a little bit of a switch over, but
Okay.
obviously like, last year, 2 years has been pretty tough with COVID and the pandemic. Like, how has that impacted you and your business?
Terrible. It was, I mean, we took a 50% hit last year. We were closed down for 3 months, but I've still got that. Like you said, were you raised with brothers? How do you, like, I've got that scrapper in me.
I can
Like
tell.
you'd
Yeah.
think I was a street kid, but I think it's because real hard knocks growing up, real hard knocks. But I was like, I'm always thinking of, okay, you want to shut off this avenue, I'm going to figure out how to get around it.
I like that.
So
Yeah.
when they would close this down, I just started thinking, well, our clients are screwed. And these, again, we have many year relationship, and I'm not going to leave them. I mean, some of these people are, I have clients that are like, they have to do Zoom calls, or they are in themselves influencers. They can't be going on camera with roots like this, or, not looking good.
Yeah.
So I started making kits, and I made color kits, and I'd customize to their color, because I have the keys to the freaking salon, even though it's
It's
closed.
yeah.
My
Of
fucking
course.
salon.
Of
So
course.
I go in and I go into the back room, and so what I did is I went on Amazon. I bought all these syringes. They were like for jello shots, I think.
No,
They look like a shot, but you know what I'm talking about?
a
They're
little
about
too
that.
a Jello shots is how I got this scar. We won't go into that, but Jello shots, and I say that because somebody asked me what happened to my scar. But I won't. Sorry, go on.
No. So I had the idea. I got these jello shot syringes. And so I'd get, each kit would have 2 syringes, and I'd suck up the color in one, and I'd suck up the correct amount of
Holy
peroxide,
wow!
developer in the other. I'd cap them, and then I'd like packing tape the bottoms, and I put them in a pretty box with like tissue, and I'd put in there gloves, and I'd put in there a hair color brush, and then I'd pack it up in there, and I'd wrap it with a ribbon, and I'd put our sticker on it. And then I posted on YouTube a video. So I'd give everyone a link to the YouTube, and I showed how to do your own roots.
That's genius.
And so I sold everyone that. And if they couldn't come get it, I'd drive and deliver it to them. And then I'd continue to sell products online, or not online. I would deliver. If they were ran out of products, I'd deliver. So that kind of stuff was peanuts, but it still gave it like just keep the wheels a little bit greased during
Absolutely.
that famine.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like it kind of, I don't know how it happened. Maybe like in Minnesota and certain parts of the U.S., but in Ontario and like in Canada, it was just like kibosh. Like it was just like there wasn't really a lot of time for people to like pivot and adapt to like, okay, this is happening. It's just like we're shutting down. You got to pay bills. It's like, what are you gonna do? So it's like
Same for us.
same for you. So how long did it take you to kind of come up with that as a plan? Because that's very high
About
level.
3 days. I'm going.
Guys, claps.
We're not going. We did not come this far. The blood, sweat,
Lisa,
and tears.
boss. You are a boss. That
It
is.
took as long as Amazon could to deliver shots.
Hey, there's your science came into play there. You said you did, if it wasn't beauty, you're going to science, and you had to, you know, do
I
the
love that part, mixing and
yeah.
ratios and measuring, and putting the tones together. That's my favorite. I love to do that. But yeah, I put that together, and it was really hard because it was the same for you guys. Everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid of everything, and you're reading everything on Facebook, and and I heard this happen. I heard they got shut down and they got fined and da da da. And they said, no, we were not allowed to go into our dispensary. We were not allowed to sell color kits, but they were letting people buy color in freaking Walmart, Target,
Yeah.
Walgreens. You could go in there, and so they can just totally their hair all
Yeah.
by themselves, try to figure it out. What I've developed for them, let's say 5-year relationship, 10-year relationship, and no, we weren't allowed to go in. Oh, the other thing is that companies called DBHU, nothing against the company, God bless them, they can do it, but they could send color kits to people. But
Was
the small business owners can't touch so the stuff is sitting locked up in our salon. I'm like, I mean, you pull me away, take me to jail,
yeah.
pull it out of my cold, dead fingers. I will not. You will have your roots done.
I'm speechless. That is awesome. Because I could see you gave off that type of vibe, but like I'm so glad that you came on here because I mean I just probably wouldn't have known this, you know, stuff about you. So for the people who are in here, guys, like, it's as fast as it comes. Like that's just I honestly I'm very impressed because like I think it takes, especially where, you know, like obviously when COVID came, like people have to shut down, stop and think like, how am I going to pay bills? But there's also the side where it's like, oh, this is like something like, do I have to be concerned about it with my health? So it's like there's just so much going on, and still being able to kind of like funnel and, you know, get into that vision is yeah.
And I won't get political. I'm not afraid of COVID. I wasn't afraid of COVID. I'm like, you're all gonna die from something, but I'm not gonna be locked up in my house and die locked up in my house.
No,
So, you
we
know,
was
I'm coming out swinging, and of course, still exercising common sense, caution. You know, still, you know, we use all the sanitizing solutions
mhm.
that were recommended to us by the, you know, Department of Health. We do everything we could, and then I look for anything that would be like a natural, something that would be healthy. But no, you're not gonna lock me up. No, forget it. I'm doing this. And our salon are all independent contractors, so I manage the salon, but I don't boss them. They run their own independent business. So I'd be very careful with, because as bold as I wanted to be, I could also endanger them, the other girls who weren't bold. So if I drew attention to us and then we got trouble on us and fines or closed, now
Uh,
I've endangered them and I've hurt them because
yeah,
I'm reckless. So I had to be very careful and walk that line and be a lion, but not be
gotcha.
mhm.
Absolutely. That was actually, it's funny you touched on that. That was my next question, was like, you are the owner of this salon. And has it been like a recent transition based on the bio in your Instagram page?
um 5 or 6 years we transitioned to independent contractor. I it was it's hard managing people, and I am an artist, and I felt like I didn't have, you see me as having grit, but I didn't have like the brains and the businessman sense like you. So I found it's too stressful, and everyone's always mad at you, and I'm like, you know what, we're gonna just all live in harmony, and you run your business, you run yours, I'll run mine, and
Go-
we'll run our independent businesses in the same area together, but you're going to be responsible for yours, and we'll be in harmony, and
Got you.
we're in harmony.
Yeah, because that, I
It's
mean, that
not as big of a money maker that way. It's more money to have employees, don't take me wrong,
for
but
sure.
I chose peace.
And that's like, to have this self awareness to be like, you know, taking the piece over the money, because, you know, maybe like, you know, say in your position and not wanting to manage these people, like obviously having employees is more money, but if, you know, you can't dedicate the time to like, say, putting out those fires and things like that, maybe it, you know, that affects you in the long run, so you don't get as much money. Whereas now you're just like, I know what I'm doing. I don't want to have concern with other people. I don't want to have to deal with bullshit. Like, I'm all in. Like, that's almost more important to have, because I feel like there are a lot of managers and like people in that role who, and I've experienced it too, who just shouldn't be managing people because they don't want to, you know, delegate time towards, you know, doing the kind of like human resource management. So
Yes.
kudos to you. Kudos to you, because I'm, at least I've said it like 10 times, but I'm super impressed. I am very impressed, and I'm so happy you are the first person to come on to my TikTok lives and talk about this, because this this has been great. I do have last question for you. So for the 156 to 160 people in here, what is one tip that you would give them, whether it's about business, whether it's about community, like what's some I know you got wisdom. I know you got wisdom.
Um, this is something that I read on Karen's Instagram today, and I wrote it down because I was so impressed. It's It's not that deep, but it's so deep. And it says,
Mhm.
love yourself enough to put yourself first. And
Like that.
when this whole, like, for now, you guys have been, or Jack's been on, and Whitey's been on doing this for a while. But for a lot of us, we kind of, the fire was lit in May, and we
Mhm.
kind of found you guys. Now, some of these gals way before that, but I discovered this, that, then. And I found myself, something shifted, and I started seeing a lot more women saying, stop saying you're going to go out and slay. Today I'm going to slay. I'm going to slay the day. And like, you're got the business and you've got the kids and you're doing this and you just like, you're such a superwoman, but it really makes everybody else go, oh my God, I can never do this. I can't be like her. She's, forget it. Just F it all. Right. And I started seeing a shift in paradigm, and people started doing more like, you're okay if you're not okay. Put yourself first. It's okay if you need to take a nap and you're tired. And come May, I started putting this, love myself enough to put myself first. So I started changing my perspective on some things. And I'm like, when I'm tired, I'm laying down. I'll set
Yeah.
the alarm, I'll set my phone for 15 minutes, but I'm not going to keep killing myself. And really,
Mhm.
I've been killing myself for years, putting myself last, not taking care of my health. And like, nobody's standing there with the trophy to go, good for you. Here's your trophy for all you did. Nobody cares. But then, like, you haven't had your yearly exam. You haven't had your teeth done. You haven't, taken. So my big shift in my advice is like, start putting yourself first. I've started it's okay when I have to take a day and like do nothing. It's okay when I want to just sit with the dogs and go on a walk and not answer emails. It's okay not to be irresponsible, but
Right.
I'm putting myself first with my health care. I started, like, how did I stop working out?
Yeah.
How did I stop working out? Like, now I swim like 36 laps 5 days a week,
Good for you. Damn.
and I'm trying to get my body back, and I am getting my body back, and I'm doing things for my face now. I know this sounds funny with your age, but like, I'm going, frick, I'm putting Botox in here. I'm gonna
Yeah.
like look good.
I know.
Putting myself
I
first.
even recommend, like, I look at my TikToks. I'm like, I got these like 3 wrinkles on my forehead. I'm like, I'm 22 years old. This should not be it. And I'm kind of going through that right now, where it's like I'm slowly, because I'm someone where it's like, okay, if I'm into something and super invested into it, whether it's like financially or just personally invested into it, like I'm balls to the wall. So it's like
Yes.
when it came to like packaging merch and stuff, like I was spending 10 hours a day in a basement room packaging, printing labels. And then at the end of it, like I was just so like I felt honestly like I just felt like I was relieved that it got done, but I knew like I hadn't eaten very much those days. Like I didn't get to work out. Like I go to the gym for the most part every day. And it was just it was just like something that still, even when we're in Vancouver, it's like, okay, I wake up, we have like our task notebook, we got to do this, 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 this. And the one thing I love about Alex and where we kind of balance is like when Alex is tired, Alex will just go for a nap. Where it's like, oh, I can't nap, I got to do this, I got to do this. But it's like, it's just, it works.
You
So
and me are very similar.
that's what I'm learning, Lisa. It's been fantastic. And I thank you so much, yeah, for being the first guest because I want to keep doing this, and I definitely want to bring you back on at some point because I like talking to you. I feel like we're just uncovering the first layer. So I
I
think
love it.
definitely you'll have more to talk about.
Can I say something?
The floor is yours.
Um, just to encourage you and Jax, Alex, I always call him Jax, but just to encourage you, like, you know, being an observer, a fan, whatever your audience, whatever you want to call us. It's I've never experienced this before, but with you guys, it's very different. Like, when you put that, we go along, or we go along, or we go along, like, I don't know about everybody else, but I've read there's going to be a ton of comments saying, I really feel part of things. Like your fun lives, your serious side, but then you've got your let's shotgun. I've never seen anything like that. I asked you, how do you do that? And it shoots down your throat. Like, I am a part of it, even though I'm in my, like, I had you on and I'm working on my computer, or I'm doing dinner or something, and it's like I'm a part of it, and it everybody, I think, feels a part of your thing. I know
Mhm.
that sounds,
No, it's the kind of
it's a
like where,
different vibe.
yeah, that's where my, head is at with it, because when Alex kind of first brought me in and was like, I want to do merch, like, because Alex and I were like, close buddies, like, and in our friend group, we knew, like, I remember it was like a year and a half ago. And I remember like when Alex and Will were kind of like first starting to get like on the social media in that sense. And I remember like knowing Will was had a following on TikTok, and like then Alex started getting a following on TikTok. And I didn't understand TikTok at the time. Like I thought it was just kind of like a quick like fad. Like I thought it was like, oh, it's gonna come, it's gonna go. There's some. It's like one in a million for like a new social media to come and for it to like take on kind of a life of its own. And then when I found out he had like 100,000 followers, and I'm like, what?
Wait a minute.
Like, yeah, on there doing. I'm like, I get it, bro. Like the pretty boy
And now
content.
he's almost at 2.
Now he's almost like, and I'm like this. I'm like, hold on. So I went into the Facebook groups, and then I was like, oh, this isn't even just people who, might find you good looking, or like, might find something in, someone else that they knew. Like, I know there are some people who are like, oh, like Alex's genuine personality reminds me of like my son and things like that. And I was like, this is bigger than that. And these people started forming, like, I saw there was a post and it was like people got together themselves from that group. And I'm like, okay, so this is like, it isn't fans. Like Alex never refers to it that way. It's like a community of people. And that's why we were like, we go along, like, just fits the brand. So, and I think, even like maintaining that community is like the focus of Alex and I. That's why, like, I know when we first started doing the lives, I was like, dude, these are fun. People are loving them, but there are still people who want to have that like alone time with you. There are still people who want to see that Alex in Stevensville after he worked 8 hours a day. You know what I mean? So it's just like,
Yeah.
it's like we got to do both, but it's like you want to maintain that community. And I think we're doing like an all right job of that, like trying to foster the relationship.
Okay, back up. You're not
Oh,
doing an all right job. You're doing a phenomenal job. And
I
you
just
see things differently. Justin,
mhm.
you see things very clear. I'm so impressed.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I say all right because I'm just like, okay, we gotta like keep it. We can never be like, oh yeah, we're killing it, or we're
No, that's true.
gonna. So that's probably where I come at it. But I do know, like, even and the fact that like I kind of came in at like a role of helping Alex on like the business side of things, and people were just sending me messages and showing me like love, and I was like, okay, these are like amazing people. And I yeah, I'm just like shocked by, because I go on TikTok lives and I see people with like 400,000 followers and they have like 45 people in
Yeah.
their live, and I'm like, okay, I'm like, I have no followers on TikTok, and like, you know what I mean? But like there's still
Yeah.
like around 80 to 100 people who come in and like listen to me talk, and I'm like, that's not just people who are interested
Mm-hmm.
in content. That's people who are interested in like us, and I think we're just like forever grateful for it. And I think, I mean, even on your lives too, like you get good numbers, and people
Mm-hmm.
come to is kind of like you almost have like your own sense of community, because I watch and I see your content, I read the comments, but you guys, yeah.
I'm realizing in the last week there's a kind of a grave responsibility to that too. Like all of a sudden it's hit me, oh God, watch what you say. Don't just pop off anything that comes in your mind. Oh, back up, don't say that. Don't lead down that direction. Keep it going. So I'm just going, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm experiencing, I realize like, and there's probably some people in here who know what I'm talking about, but like there's some things that I realize that I'm like, oh, like I can't say that. Not like political controversial things, but little, like just little things. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh shit, like this is so new to me because before we came to Vancouver, like, I think I went on Alex's lives like twice, like when we would drop merch and stuff. But then
Yeah.
it's like I'm going on live by myself, and hell, like I'm hooked up to a ring light. Like this was never something that I thought would happen. So it's like now I'm just slowly trying to get the hang of it. But I do appreciate that compliment. Alex and I both do, and it's nothing's possible without you guys. And I'm so shocked with you, Lisa. Like your grit, determination, and just how intelligent you are. Just these people got to see it, and I'm glad I got to see it as well. And this is probably the best first guest I could ever have on. I think so. This is the first guest. I wouldn't ask for anything or anybody else differently. So thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And I won't take too much more of your time. I know I got to wake up Pretty Boy soon because he's got to get.
Are you guys going live again?
He's gonna go live. I have to go and unfortunately hop on a phone call. I don't want to necessarily hop on, so I know it's just gonna have a
We're,
quiet. It's got to stay quiet because we gotta jump out of a plane tomorrow. So
Tomorrow. We're doing a beauty live after this, and so I don't like being in the road when the kings are in the road. And
oh,
so I don't like to pull anyone away from them. So we'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll have 5 people.
yeah. Oh,
It's a pleasure to talk to you. I enjoyed it. I actually learn a lot from you guys.
and likewise. And I think yeah, we'll definitely have to do this again sometime, Lisa. I appreciate
Sounds
it.
good. Have an
Awesome.
awesome night. Thank you,
Well,
everybody. Okay, good night.
jeez, guys, shout out to Lisa. Shout out to Lisa for real. I'm putting the glasses on, back on, because Lisa killed that. She is anybody else that shocked? Like when I had no idea. I could see that in her, but I just couldn't. I had no idea. I had no idea. Like when she was talking about what she did when COVID hit and how she kind of pivoted her business, I was like, I'm sitting there like I was speechless. I was speechless, guys. Absolutely speechless. She is amazing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I didn't really get to like read any of your guys' comments. I really want to do that again. I had a lot of fun doing that. As much as I like coming on to be Alex's co-host and shotgun beers for your guys' entertainment and do non-proper form push-ups, which some of you have said, I love doing that and I want to do that again. So I think that's something I'm going to start doing each week. I think it was it was great. Oh, you guys are the best. You guys are the best. And I think it's important to highlight those things, guys. Thank you for the roses. I'm definitely going to send Lisa something to thank her for that because that was great. That was great. I wouldn't want to have anybody else come on and do it. Can you post the interview on YouTube? I don't. Maybe I should look into like getting some type of screen recording when I do it. But I'll start looking at that, guys. Sorry, I do not record my lives. But yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. That was such a good time. So, make it fun. Yeah, Lisa is phenomenal. When is YouTube starting? YouTube. So we are editing the video. We wanted to be careful with when we were releasing it because this is the first time we're doing YouTube, and we want to do it right. So all of the footage is off the camera. We will have a hard drive tomorrow so that we can send it to Caden, who's helping us edit it, and from there it'll be about 2 to 3 days. But we are going to have that video done as well as the skydiving video done, so those will be put out in the same week. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if anybody recorded it or like little clips of it, but yeah, guys, that was awesome. That was awesome, and thank you guys for tuning in. TikTok saves your lives. True. I'll have to go. Yeah, if that's the case, then I'm gonna save it. Thank you, Kara. Thank you. I will do that and post it maybe in the Facebook group, wherever you guys want to see it. But yeah, guys, I'm excited. I want to do that again. Like now, to be honest. That was fun. And I didn't really have, I didn't come in here knowing what to expect. I didn't really have set questions. I kind of knew sort of what I wanted to ask her, but yeah, I just came in and kind of winged it, and she made that really easy. She was really good. I thought that was awesome. Thank you guys. You guys are great. Thank you for your support. Thank you guys. Thank you. These compliments are amazing. I'll stay on for another few minutes and then gotta wake Pretty Boy up from his nap so he can get on TikTok live. But yeah, guys, I was a little tired before then. We had just mind you, seeing Nelson in the gym, that upped it a little bit, but I was pretty tired and I'm I gotta chug coffee or something, but then I'm buzzing. I am buzzing. Thank you guys. Yeah, love Nelson. Shout out to Nelson. I'll be back to see Alex. Good. Yeah, guys, make sure Alex will be on live for 6:30 Pacific time, so that's 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune in there. If you guys haven't seen Alex's TikToks today, make sure you go check them out. Yeah, guys, that was wicked. I love that. Yes, an hour from now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that for sure. I want to keep highlighting women in business 100%, but I also want to bring on other people who I think would be interesting conversations. So yeah, I'm gonna check the TikTok settings and make sure we have that live uploaded somewhere. I'll figure it out. But yeah, guys, I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna wake Pretty Boy up to make sure he is in gear for his live at 6:30, which is just under an hour from now. And thank you guys for tuning in. Also, thank you for watching my coffee reviews. I got something planned for the loser of the Cafe Saga on Hornby Street, so be cognizant of that. Make sure you tune in to Alex's live, and as always, guys, much love and thank you for the support, and I'll see you soon. Peace.